Hey guys, this is how to double your open rates and achieve A-tier email deliverability. This is going to be a really good video if you're an e-commerce store and you're only seeing like 20%, 30%, or even maybe as low as 10% open rates on your email campaigns, flows. This video is going to be perfect for you. Let's get straight into it. Bit of a disclaimer, in this video, we're only going to be covering the 80-20 of email deliverability. Basically, there's lots and lots of small little tweaks and things you can do to improve your email deliverability. But in this video, we're just going to be focusing on the most efficient and biggest levers that you can make to get those open rates up and get more people seeing emails and buying from you. Okay, let's just get straight into it. In this video, we're going to be going over what is email deliverability, what causes bad email deliverability, and then we're going to go through a step-by-step action plan. If you are seeing below 20% in open rates, it's a good chance you're in the spam folder, and we're going to go through how to actually get out of that within 3 to 4 weeks or maybe a bit longer. And number 3, we're going to go over a long-term strategy where you actually can maintain 50% open rates and maximize your sales. And number 4, we're just going to go over a small little deliverability hack, especially for e-commerce stores that are sending a lot of imagery, links, that sort of thing. This is going to give you an extra little boost and make your emails land in the primary inbox more often than not. So let's just get straight into it. Who am I? If you don't already know, my name's Kieran. I'm the founder of Compound Flows. We're a marketing agency, but we specialize in just email marketing and SMS. We've worked with quite a few people now. Here's a few of our brands we work with. Here's some of our results. Managed to add 39K to a brand's email revenue in less than 60 days, $147,000 over a 5-month period, and took a brand's email revenue from 18K to over 31K. Here's my links. They'll be in the video description. I'm on LinkedIn, X, and of course YouTube right here. So last thing, we do have a big offer for you if you are an e-commerce store doing over 30K per month. I think you want to stay around and check that out. Moving on, what is email deliverability? Basically, it's the measure of how many emails are landing in the inbox compared to the spam box. As you can see, if you're having bad email deliverability, you're probably seeing 15 to 20% open rates. But good email deliverability, you're looking around at 40, 50, even 60% open rates. Again, if you're watching this video right now and you're above 50% open rates consistently, I think you're in the clear. But basically what it is, it's linked to a thing called sender reputation, or some people call it sender score. And basically what that is, it's a system that inbox providers put in place to make sure their users are receiving the best emails possible. By inbox providers, I mean things like Google, Yahoo, Microsoft, with their own platforms, Outlook, Gmail, that type of thing. If you think it from their point of view, obviously they want their users to receive the best emails possible and filter out all the spammy emails that's going to give users a bad time, and obviously maintain their user base and all of that. So if your sender reputation is low, more of your emails will be landing in spam. But yeah, a good thing just to note, and if you really want to visualize it, is email deliverability isn't really black and white. You're kind of sitting somewhere on the spectrum right here, where if you're seeing really low open rates, most of your emails are going to be landing in spam, where a few could be just landing in the inbox with a few active subscribers. But if you do have really good open rates, again, 40, 50% plus, more often than not, most of your emails are going to be landing in the inbox. But really with e-commerce stores, because you're sending a lot of images, links, that type of stuff, it is a bit unrealistic to get all of your emails in your entire newsletter to land in the inbox 100% of the time. Even if you're around this mark here, around 80%, that's very achievable and that's very realistic. So just quickly, what causes bad sender reputation or bad email deliverability? Number 1 is going to be low engagement. So if no one is opening up your emails or even clicking on them, Again, that's not going to signal to Google, Yahoo, Microsoft that your emails aren't really worth opening, and they're going to start filtering your emails into the spam box. Number 2 is emails bouncing. So if you're sending to a lot of fake or dud email addresses, this can hurt your sender score quite a lot. How this happens is, if you think about it, especially with ecom, people will sign up with a fake email address or just a dud email address to get that 10% off on the pop-up. If too many of those start coming into your account, again, this could be a problem. Another thing is like bot attacks that can happen, especially to your e-commerce store. A lot of fake email addresses will be signed up, and then because they're bots, obviously they won't be opening up and engaging with the emails. That can tank your email deliverability as well. And if you look into your metrics here of any email, if you're getting a bounce rate over 1%, I would say that it's pretty damaging. Number 3 is spam complaints. This is probably the worst one you can get, and that's when someone manually clicks on your email and reports you as spam. That's going to hurt your sender reputation the most. Again, anything over 0.02% is quite damaging. And last one being high unsubscribe rates. Unsubscribing is normal, but if you're having a consistent high percentage on your email campaigns, again, that's going to start damaging your email deliverability. So why is email deliverability so important? And again, I just wanted to put this slide in here because most people don't really put this as a priority or really even think about it too much. But just logically speaking, the more people that open up your emails, the more people that are going to click, and therefore the more people that are going to go on the website and buy your product. So by using this logic, again, you can even see on this little diagram that I put here, brand A, they have the same store average order value as brand B, exact same list size, everything. When they send an email campaign from brand A, if they only get a 20% open rate, that's only 2,000 people opening. On average, you're going to get a 1.5% click rate, so only 150 people. And then, a good placed order rate is like 0.3% of that 1.5%, so only 30 people, and you're only going to be ending up with $4,500 in revenue. However, if we just tweak the open rate and start having some good email deliverability, and let's just say we double that open rate, again, we're going to be effectively doubling the amount of people that click, doubling the amount of people that place an order, and therefore doubling the amount of revenue you actually generate from each email you send. Again, this is like a really big thing that I don't see a lot of ecom brand store owners putting as a priority. And if you don't have really good email deliverability, you're pretty much going to all that effort, creating, designing, and scheduling that email campaign to only bring back half the amount of results that you could possibly have. So moving on to some actionable steps, how to fix this, how to actually get out of the spam box once and for all. Let's go on to step number 1. So if you don't already have it set up, you want to be creating your 30-day, 60-day, and 90-day engaged lists. It's going to be your core segmented list that you want to be using the most when you're sending out campaigns. So again, if you don't already have this set up, this is how we like to create them at our agency. That is when someone has opened up an email at least once in the last X amount of days. So you'll be changing this variable for each of those 3 lists. Or someone has clicked an email at least once in the last 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. Or I like to add this is someone has been active on your website in the last 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. And we just like to add this into here. Someone is actually subscribed to email marketing already, just to make sure you're not segmenting people in that has unsubscribed or been suppressed. Sometimes Klaviyo can be a bit funny with that. But yeah, make those 3 lists. Those are going to be your core engaged segmented lists that you want to be using a lot of the time when you're sending your actual campaign emails. So step 2, now you want to start sending these campaign emails with those new engaged lists that you just created. And basically, this is a bit of a concept to wrap your head around. But if we're sending to a smaller, tighter engaged list, we're going to be sending to fewer people than your entire newsletter. And as you can see with this diagram, we're just going to be targeting the most active people that we're going to be sending to, and we're going to be ignoring the people that are inactive, haven't been opening up our emails, and our emails are probably landing in their spam box anyway. So we just want to be focusing on the engaged list that we just created. And what this is going to do, it's going to inflate our open rates and click rates. And what that is going to do is going to start signaling to inbox providers like Google, Yahoo, Microsoft that, hey, wow, all these emails from this domain address is getting really high engagement. We better start placing these emails in the primary inbox, seeing as people, love it so much. And people will start opening and using our platform more by opening up these emails from this specific person. So basically we're just artificially inflating our numbers, getting our sender reputation up. So when we do start opening up our segmented list to, bigger and wider segments, we're going to maintain that good email deliverability and good open rate. As you can see here, if your email deliverability is really bad, and by really bad, I mean below 20% open rates, you really want to be starting with a really tight 15-day engaged list even, and it's really going to be focusing on the most active people in your list. Once that's at a good 40%, 50% open rates consistently, then I'd start opening it up a bit wider to a 30-day engaged list. Then again, wait until you get some consistent 40, 50% open rates. And then again, I would open it one more time to the 60-day engaged list. And your 60-day engaged list is kind of where you want to keep it at. This is probably going to be your most used segmented list when you start sending your email campaigns after you get a really good email deliverability. More in that in just a sec on the long-term strategy. But onto the third step now, and this is a bit of a red pill, but you want to start putting your focus on creating better content, more helpful content, and even like better email designs that people like opening and looking at. And what that is pretty much going to do is it's going to get your customers obviously to enjoy your emails and start recognizing your name in their inbox. And again, that's going to start getting them to open up your emails a bit more consistently and further solidifying you as a reputable sender. As you can see from this little diagram that I created, if your email isn't really recognizable, people aren't really taking interest in it, and you're always just spamming discounts, sales, you just kind of blend in with the rest of the people. But if you're known as that really cool brand that sends a lot of cool, helpful content and cool email designs, people are going to start recognizing that and going to start opening up your emails more often than not. Obviously, this is a really long-term strategy that happens over a process of weeks, months, but that's kind of what you want to aim for. Here's some email examples of what I mean of like really good designed, helpful content emails. We got Dr. Squatch here that actually sent an email about how they actually create their soaps, which is really cool. They had a cool, easy to understand 3-step system here. We got Vital here. This is actually an email we designed where we actually directed customers away from the website to actually an article where we got featured in so they can learn a bit more about us and get the actual Daily Mail's perspective on the brand. And then here's another one from Crave Broody where they just did a do's and don'ts email, which is kind of creative. Again, you don't need to be spamming discounts or sales to your email list every single email. You can mix it up a bit with a few emails like this. But of course, emails like this take a bit more time and effort. That's why brand owners don't really have the time to. But if you want to start creating emails like this, obviously there's a link in the description. But moving on, long-term strategy, how to actually maintain 50% open rates long term. So let's just imagine, you've done that 3-step system. You're starting to get really good open rates now. And yeah, this is what you kind of want to follow. So you want to start looking at your 30-day, 60-day, 90-day, and your entire newsletter list a bit differently. 30-day engaged, that's your tighter segmented list. And that's where you want to spend and send a bit more content, heavy emails, drop teasers for the most active people. Your 60-day is kind of be, like I said before, your email segmented list that you're going to be using the most with your email campaigns. And again, that's every type of email campaign, small offers, value-based content. 90-day engage, again, that's like a step up with a bit more less active people. Again, any small announcements or any big product drops, you want to start sending to those people. And your entire newsletter. So with your entire newsletter, I usually save them for any huge sales or huge announcements that typically happen like once a month. That's where you want to be sending to your entire newsletter once your sender reputation is really good enough that, again, even if you get like a 30% open rate, it's not going to hurt your sender score too much. So just looking at like a sending pattern here, again, maybe pause and look at this, but this is kind of what it would look like with your 60-day engaged list being sent the most amount of times, and then your 30-day, a bit lesser than that. 90-day, again, maybe only like once, twice a month. And then your newsletter, you're only sending to that newsletter like once a month, maybe twice a month. But like the least you want to make your newsletter probably, the least used segment that you're sending to. Okay, so the second thing that you want to be focusing on as a long-term strategy to maintain those open rates really highly is cleaning out your inactive subscribers. So if you haven't already done this or haven't really put much thought into this, there's probably a large portion of your newsletter that's inactive, not seeing your emails, or your emails are being sent to spam, and you want to start clearing these people out. But first, what I would recommend doing is sending them a plain text email or two, just to try and re-engage them a little bit before we actually do suppress them inside Klaviyo and delete them from a newsletter. So pretty much what you're doing here, again, you want to be using plain text because plain text has a much higher chance of landing in that primary inbox. So again, if these are inactive profiles that haven't been seeing your emails because they've all been landing in spam, plain text email gives you a little bit higher chance to actually get you landing in that primary inbox. And this is just like an email example that you kind of want to follow. You kind of just want to acknowledge that, hey, we haven't seen you around lately. We want to give them the option to unsubscribe themselves, but also give them the option to come back and reply back to this email to stay on the list. But if not, we're just going to suppress you from the list and we'll say our goodbyes. The reply back to this email with the list, again, that's like a little email deliverability trick you can do to increase engagement. Google, Yahoo will see that someone, if they reply to an email, that's a really high engagement factor that they're going to consider. And yeah, but you can do a thing called sunset unengagement flow. Basically what this does is kind of like automates the process a bit. We'll automatically send those 2 plain text emails to people that haven't opened up your emails in the last 120 days. And if they still don't open those plain text emails in the actual sunset unengaged flow, they'll tag the profile as unengaged. And then at the end of each month, you just have to manually create a segmented list and suppress those people that are tagged with that unengaged profile property. More about this, I do have a full video going down how to create this flow and how to actually structure it all out. Highly recommend you watch that if you want to create this sunset unengaged flow. Okay, let's get on to the email deliverability hack. So this is a small little secret under the radar hack that not a lot of people use. But basically, if you're an e-commerce brand that sends a lot of image only emails and links, I'll recommend following this and actually implementing this in every single one of your emails. And basically what that is adding lots of HTML text at the bottom of your email in the footer where nobody really is going to notice this. Basically what this does is if you're sending image only emails, that's not really great for email deliverability as is, and it's going to land your emails more in the promotions box on Gmail. And it's going to start recognizing your emails as potential spam. But if you start adding some HTML text, which is text coded into the actual email, and this is text that can change colors with dark mode, and again, Google can actually read this and recognize it. That's kind of what you want to be implementing in here. Let's get into the little step-by-step guide I've created here. So at the very bottom of the email, you want to create a text block directly inside of Klaviyo. So if you upload your designs from Figma, you don't want to be putting the text in there. You want to be putting the text in a direct text block inside of Klaviyo. And you want to copy the About Us section from your brand's website or any relevant information about your mission, core company values, anything like that is really great. You want to paste this prompt into ChatGPT, basically saying, can you spit out 8 to 10 sentences that would work well as an email footer using this context, and then you just paste in the About Us text or any relevant information about your company. Copy what ChatGPT spits out and paste this into the text block inside of Klaviyo. You want to color correct it so it kind of blends in with the email like this. And then you want to make the text really small. So this, I would say, is, again, it's fine, but you can make the text size really small here so it's barely readable. People won't notice it. That's kind of like the way you want to go about it. And like I said, this is going to improve your email deliverability just that little bit more, and start pushing your emails to the primary inbox. Okay, guys, that's it for the video. Like I said at the beginning, if you are an e-commerce store, I did have a good offer for you, and that's building out a free flow for your store as a part of a 2-week free trial that we do. Here is some examples that we've previously done for a few brands already. Here's a process, how it all looks like. Again, we're looking for e-commerce brands doing over 30K per month. And if you are open to partnering with us long-term, all you have to do to get started is booking in a call in the link in the description. Again, that's there for e-commerce brands. But if not, thanks for watching, guys, and cheers.